After I launched my video yesterday, there's been a ton of follow-up questions and conversation about all the different options for the way that allies could have worked in my KvK. And in fact, there's really just a couple things we need to evaluate for. What is the fight opportunity? And what is the chance for each kingdom to win? So in this video, I'm going to show you the breakdown of each of the different options that were presented, what the fight opportunity would be for each kingdom, and what their chances would be for winning. And when you see this visualization, you're going to go, oh, that's really interesting. I understand now some of the motivations that were happening for each kingdom and why they were arguing or advocating for one or another choice. So stick around in this video for even more drama from this KvK, because this KvK is just gonna be non-stop entertainment. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in case you've missed my video yesterday, which gave a very detailed breakdown of the entire diplomacy conversation. I mean, it's a summary, but like, because 1960 leaked the Diplo conversations, we then were shared pictures of, hey, here's all the things that happened in the conversation. You should include them in a video so that you can show the exact sequence of happened and who was saying what. And so that's exactly what I did in yesterday's video. But if you missed that video, the very short summary of how it all went down is, first of all, everybody discussed all these different options, and it was swirling like crazy and got kind of unproductive. The leader of 1960 said in a public Discord, it's 1v2, prepare for battle. Okay, and I'm summarizing. But 93 said, what do you mean 1v2? We didn't agree to a 1v2. We're not taking any allies if you're not taking any allies. And my kingdom, 2605, said basically the same thing. Like, yeah, it's not balanced if we're taking allies either. So I guess we're not taking allies either then. So it's definitely not a 1v2. And all these other kingdoms, there's 12 of them. I refer to them now as the G4s, okay? This was a suggestion. Someone made a comment on my vid. They were like, you need a cool way to refer them that's shorter than groups of four. We're going to call them G4s. The G4s were all like, 1v2, WTF, man. What about us? Why are we not included? What are we even talking about? Hello? So, anyways, that was how Diplo ended up, and it became a 1v1, v1, v3. And the 3 is the 3 groups of 4. Those 3 camps are all allied together, okay? And that is what the KvK is, which is, in my estimation, the worst possible outcome for pretty much everybody. But that's not necessarily true. In fact, what I want to show you is a chart that really breaks down how to evaluate these different KvK opportunities and ally selections, because I think it's super illustrative into why each kingdom was saying what they were saying and thinking what they were thinking. And let's just jump to the chart and I'll show you. Now, personally, I'm a visual learner. So like, I really like to break things down and put structure to them, which is why on this chart, we've got the ally options listed on the left. We've got each kingdom listed across the top. I've grouped together the G4s because otherwise it's just like a chart that's so big, you can't even see it on one page. Already it's way too big. And we've got the fight opportunity and the chance to win for each one. So let's start in this top row, okay? And this is the 2v2v2 option. Now, it's important to know that's also a free-for-all. It's just with teams that, of 2s rather than everyone fully for themselves, like 6 teams and each one for themselves. It's a free-for-all variant. I think free-for-all is the stupidest format possible in this game because, again, and I really want to emphasize this toward the front of the video, it puts at odds with each other good gameplay, which is charging in and fighting, and actually winning, which means in a free-for-all, you want to be the last man standing. It's really a last man standing situation. Whoever owns the zig at the end is the winner, and you can fight it out and try to conquer everybody, or you can just sit in your starting zone, let everybody else fight, and then come clean it up. And if you want to win, that might even just be the best way to play it, which again is directly at odds with good gameplay. That's not good gameplay, but that is winning. So let's review for each kingdom. In a 2v2v2, that is a questionable amount of fight opportunity for 1093. Why is that the case? If 1960 and 2605 and our allies, if we slug it out at the start, It could just be that 93 comes in and cleans it up. So their chance to win is really, really high. Actually, they have a great chance to win if it was a 2v2v2, but they may not get enough fights, and for them, that's not a KvK they want to play. For 1960, the fight opportunity here will be great, but the chance to win is not amazing because 93, just because of the way the map is set up, if 1960 comes and fights us, which, you know, I think they've said they prefer that over winning potentially. I'm honestly, I can't keep straight what everyone's saying anymore. But like, if they come and fight us, then we lose, but then they lose to 93 probably. All right. And I know some people are going to say, no, they're bottomless forever. But like, if you actually look at the data for their camps, like 93 has a lot more power than the 960 domain does. Last I looked, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm out of date on that. For 2605, we get amazing fight opportunity. Either we go down swinging against 1960 and we almost certainly like lose the KvK, or they dodge us and we clean them up after in Kingsland and we fight in Kingsland, but we probably just lose against, in this situation, we are the weakest of the three camps. I mean, honestly, the chance to win for us, all is decided on if we want to play smart or if we just want to throw ourselves at 1960. And I don't know what's what anymore. And I'm not the guy who decides this stuff. So anyways, this chance to win is best again for 1093 in a 2v2v2. And the G4s, I mean, their fight opportunity is the best probably in this situation. Each one of them works with an Imperium, and their chance to win, I mean, it all depends on which Imperium they get paired with, okay? From here, what about a 2v4, all right? 2v4 is kind of an interesting idea. 1093 and 2605 ally together and fight everybody else. What does that look like? This creates great fight opportunity for 1093. And their chance to win, I mean, it's yellow. It's hard to say who's going to win. I feel like the 1093 and 2605 team probably wins. I'd say the odds are in our favor. And the fight opportunity for 960 is really good. But when 960 was commenting on this option, they said, even they said, look at the size of 1093. So they didn't want this option. And if the fighting is good for them, but they don't want it, like even they must think their chances of winning here are not as good as they would like. Okay. For us, the fight opportunity is great. I think the chance to win might even be green, but like if you underestimate 1960, you're an idiot. So I think yellow is probably the best I would give this. Like we probably win, but don't know for sure. It's kind of up in the air. And for the 4 G3s, like they're definitely going to have good fight opportunity. But their chance to win is kind of up in the air. Like 960 drives the KvK, and whether or not they win will be determined by how many of the, G4 camps rise up and how many of those kingdoms really show up big for the KvK, right? The next option is 1960 and 2605 versus all, which in my opinion was the unquestionable most fair option on the board. Why is that? It gives the most fight opportunity for literally everyone. 1093, 1960, 2605, and the G4s. Also, it gives a relatively even chance to win across the board. Like, I don't know who wins this KvK. If it's 1960 and 2605 versus all. Like, I don't know who wins. Now, I think from 1960's perspective, they did not think this was a viable option. So they must think that their chances to win here are low, or they just don't want to ally us. Could be either of those things. But for them, this was fully a no-go. So I think this was unquestionably the best option. And like, honestly, if 960 came back to the table and was like, what if we actually did this 2v4? I think it'd be better for everybody, but let's keep evaluating the options. Like, I'm just saying I'd be open to it, but I'm not in Diplo, so I'm actually not in charge. Up next, this is what 1960 did want at one point, certainly. And this is 3v3. They wanted 960, 2605, and Earth, and they wanted 1093 to have 2 of the G4 camps. This is a 2 Imperium versus 1 situation. So if you think about the way that this would work, right? Like, let's say the 2 G4 camps neutralize each other, okay? That means that 1093 and 1960, let's say they're about even, right? Well, if 2605 if we beat our G4, that would give our side advantage, right? That would definitely give our side advantage. So I think the 960 side is definitely advantaged in this configuration. It gives 93 good fight opportunity, but it's probably the most difficult option for them in terms of getting a win. to go with this 3v3 option. Fight opportunity for 960 is amazing. They're almost certainly winning that KvK. Fight opportunity for 2605 is good in this configuration. We're almost certainly winning this KvK. And the fight opportunity for the G4s is really good. I think that, Earth would probably end up being our ally because the map position. They're almost certainly winning the KvK. I don't actually know if it's Earth that would be our ally, but I think that's who we agreed to. I can't remember. So the rest are going to lose, though, I think. I think this option pretty heavily favors the 1960 team. We're almost certainly winning, I think, in this case. I could be wrong, right? 3v3, top versus bottom. So another way to run through the 3v3 is to say, hey, look, all the top kingdoms versus all the bottom kingdoms. And this gives 1093 the least fight opportunity, but they're definitely going to win. Like, if I thought that 1093 and 2605 was a winning combination, just the two of us, adding in a G4 camp, we are really favored then. But at that point, they're going to get less fights in 1093. So I thought the fight opportunity was lower for them. They'd have much more chance to win. Great fight opportunity for 1960, but really bad chance for them to win that. The fight opportunity for us is good, and we're almost certainly winning. So, like, yeah, sure. Like, for us, top versus bot actually is fine. And, this is great for the top G4 and bad for the bottom G4s. Up next is another suggestion from 1960. The top fights it out, and the winner of top fights the winner of bot. So this is like kind of a weird 3v3, but it's actually like 1v1v1 and then a 1v1. Like it's with the top kingdoms fight, the bottom kingdoms fight each other. The winner of the top fights the winner of the bottom. Okay, this is a thing that was proposed. For 1093, this gives good fight opportunity. Okay, I'll highlight the square, but their chance to win is like pretty mid in that situation. Like fighting another Imperium probably drains them more than a G4, although I don't know for sure. The G4s are a question mark, right? That's the whole point. Like, you don't know if they are going to be all-stars, which they totally could be, or they're going to get intimidated, and like some of them definitely are, and like understandably. What are we talking about? It's 1960 and 1093 and 2605 with like the biggest players by power and some players with insane kill points all around. Like, yeah, like, why do you want to fight that? For 1960, winner of top versus winner of bot gives them great fight opportunity. They're going to win bottom. Do they then continue on to win top? Like, I would say this is probably, honestly, I would say this is probably like more like closer to green for 1960. I think this situation favors them, which is, if I'm understanding correctly, why they would have proposed it, right? It's a good situation for them, and it gives good fighting for them, and it gives good fighting for 2605. We're almost certainly not going to win, but we get a good fight. It will be against 1093. Like, I don't know. If you think 1960 might not beat 1093, we're definitely not beating 1093. And unfortunately, this gives literally no consideration whatsoever to the G4s, which get wrecked. So sure, they can fight, but like, is that the kind of fight they want to take? No Imperium support whatsoever. I think their chance to win here is the worst, easily, right? Not great. You might even call this like yellow opportunity to fight, because like they don't even really have great support. Like, technically they have opportunity, but like no support. Like, nah, this is not good. I mean, I'd almost even make this red. Like, this is pretty bad for them, in my opinion. They're just, why are we even here? So next up is 1v1 and 1v3. So this is really weird. This is where 1960 and 1093 would fight it out, and whoever wins that gets the zig. And then 2605 would fight against all three of the G4s, and whoever wins that gets second place. So weird. So in that situation, the fight opportunity is obviously good for 1093, but whether or not they win depends a lot on like where the fight happens. And they couldn't find alignment with 1960 on where to make that fight happen. They were into it, and they were like, we'd do it in this zone, in this way. And 1960, they also see this is great fight opportunity, But they were like, no, we want it in this zone, this way. They couldn't find alignment. Okay. This is not a criticism of either of them, but they could not find the alignment. And so like this became a non-option. For us, the fight opportunity is like not amazing. I mean, like it entirely depends on whether the G4s move all in or they're like, this is dumb. Why are we here? Like there's a lot of these situations where it's like, what is even happening right now? And neither of us gets good rewards, by the way. Like we at best get second place rewards. We're definitely not winning. You cannot win as a G4 in this world. You cannot win as a 2605 Kingdom. Like, I don't know. The fight for both of us is honestly like weird. Okay. Fight opportunity. I'm going to put it yellow. Like, I feel like the best fight opportunity for a G4 is to fight alongside an Imperium and to have some, the ability to have definitely like meta garrisons in places. Like and they may or may not be able to provide that from themselves, which is why an Imperium ally, I think that's a huge dub for them. So anyways, the final scenario, 1v1, v1, v3. This is what we're actually doing. Okay. And what happens in this version of free-for-all that we've actually done is really weird. For 1093, whether or not they get good fights depends a lot on what 1960 does. Okay. But the chance to win for 1093 is very good. We know 1093 is going to play smart because that's what they do. They never go into a KvK and say, we're going to fight because we like to fight, right? Like they're like, all right, we're going to play to win. And that's like they play to win and they play smart. So they're not going to treat a free-for-all like a regular KvK, I assume. I assume they're going to play it smart and they're going to do what they need to do to win because they're not going to be, I think, egotistical. They're not going to be emotional about it. They're going to be like, yeah, we take those dubs and we'll play for those, the win. Like, it's 1093. What are we talking about? So 1960, on the other hand, they've got great fight opportunity and I have absolutely no clue in the world what they're going to do. I never would have expected them to be leaking Diplo chats. I never would have expected them to just take some principled stands on things that like, okay, here we are. I mean, I don't know. I have no clue what they're going to do. If they come and fight us and we drain them, I think it's unlikely that they beat 1093. People think you can't drain 1960. What are you talking about? This is different. It's domain game now. You only have 800 accounts. Like you can't bottomless farm us and we can't bottomless farm them. So like if they fight us, they are not as strong to beat 93. And if you thought that it was uncertain who's going to beat 93 in a 1v1, it's certainly less likely if they fight us first, right? Like, it's just, I don't know what to tell you. So for us, we get a lot of fight opportunity. If 1960 dodges us, okay, we fight them in Kingsland. If they fight us early, we get a good fight, right off rip. So like, we definitely get a good fight in this situation. And whether or not we win, bro, I cannot tell you if our kingdom is going to play smart or play for fights. I think we're going to play for fights, even though like we could just play smart, but I think we're going to play for fights. So like, it doesn't make sense to do that, but it all depends on what philosophy you subscribe to, right? Like, is it losing the plot to play to win, or is it losing the plot to play for fights? I don't know, man. What do you think the plot of the story is? And then for the G4s, they'll certainly have lots of opportunity to fight, but it's going to be really hard for them to get established in zones. So like their chance to win is weird. Like I don't know. I think I want the G4s to win. I want them to actually win. I want them to come in and be like, how dare you neglect us, and just dominate the board. That's what I want to see. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I think that would be the funniest, most outstanding outcome of this KvK is that like the G4s win, and like in a world in which like 1093, 1960, and 2605 showed up to a KvK, 12 kingdoms just take us to the cleaners. I think that is the funniest thing on the face of the earth. I'm all for it, man. If that happens, it's funny. Come on, that's funny. So anyways, this is the option we're doing. It's the weirdest option for sure. And like, I think it's favors 1093 because they're just going to play smart. Like, what are we even talking about? That's how they roll, man. So if they play smart and everybody else plays emotional, they're probably favored to win. So, but what actually happens, who the hell knows? Which is why you're subscribed to the channel. You want to find out. I want to find out. Again, I think the best option here, when we look at all these, was the 1960 and 2605 versus all. That creates great fight opportunity for everybody. If there's any kingdom in the game that could mobilize other kingdoms productively, like a G4 couldn't hope to be paired with a better kingdom than 1093. I mean, really? Like, I would assume. I don't know. I've never actually allied 1093. I wouldn't know. But I would assume that they would be a really good group to work with. And like, I think this is the best option for everybody. Like, everybody gets good fight opportunity, and it's not clear who would win because it's even-ish, right? That's what you want to see. That's the whole point. So, my opinion. And I think that 3v3, like, I mean, it favors us, but like 1093 is probably not winning that, right? Which is, you know, why they were not interested. If you want to see the full summary of the Diplo chats, I'll have a card in the end screen. Alternatively, you can see the live stream where the matching was announced. Both of those are pretty entertaining, so I hope you'll check them out.